What is that? I've spotted something really weird in the water up ahead.
Stand-up paddleboarding is one of my favourite ways to explore, and so Red Paddle let me borrow one of their new 14-foot long sport boards to see what I thought of it. It's one of their fastest paddleboards and it's perfect for exploring and doing long distances. So I took it to Ullswater in the Lake District to test it out and give you my first impressions.
So it's really lightweight despite the size.
This board is made from Red's MSL 800 material, which means it weighs less than 11 kilograms and it's still strong enough for pressures over 22 psi. It was much windier and choppier than I was hoping for when I first set out.
Whoa!
And the board was smashing through these small waves and I didn't feel very stable, so I turned around and headed towards a more sheltered part of the lake and made a beeline for a small island. This board is narrower than what I'm used to, so I felt a bit more unstable for the first while when I stood up, but when I eventually got used to it, it was a lot of fun just to see how fast I could go, and this thing flies.
This is Norfolk Island, and the view up here is pretty cool. There goes one of the boats. I'm gonna head back over to that side, pick my way along the shoreline down in that direction, and then come back up again. It's about 8 degrees Celsius today, so I'm not very warm. Hello, fellow boat people. One of the tourboats has just went past its speed. It's about to get bumpy. What is that? I've spotted something really weird in the water up ahead. I'm gonna go see what it is. That's weird. Does anybody know what this thing's for? Right, I have thoughts. Let's find somewhere to land and I'll have a chat. Okay, I've spent the morning out on this board. I've been out 2.5 hours now. I haven't done any serious distance. I've only done a handful of miles, but I do now have some thoughts about this board. We'll start with let's start with the downsides. The only downside that I found so far with this board is that because it's more narrow, it's not as stable, so it's a bit more of a learning curve. I was finding my legs were getting fatigued quicker than they would on a wider board, but that's kind of to be expected. It's, you know, you're trading off speed for stability. But after about an hour or so of being out, I was starting to find my legs and I was starting to be able to stand up in water that wasn't flat cam as well, so I was quite pleased with that. One possible other downside is that if you decided you wanted to try and use this for touring, it doesn't have any rear luggage, but let's talk through all the good stuff. And the first good thing so far is that despite the fact that this is a huge 14-foot long board, it is incredibly lightweight. It is fast. Once you get on it and get a bit of speed up, it really glides really well. And I found when I stopped paddling, it would just keep gliding. And there were some times when I was coming towards the, it was like coming into a bank like this, I had to back paddle a bit because I was going too fast because I was keeping up too much momentum. So yeah, it really flies through the water. This has enough space at the front here to put the deck bag on, and that deck bag is kind of essential for me for if I'm out making videos, because it's where my drone goes, it's where my camera goes. And today I had like a spare jacket in there if I got a bit cold, so that's what I kind of like about this. I'm not someone who wants to go fast just to race. I want to go out and have fun and explore and maybe do it quickly, so that's where this board is really useful. And of course I could take my deck bag off, and then there's these bungees on the top that you could put a little bit of luggage on. And one last small thing I like about this board, say compared to my compact board, is that it has the action camera mount right in the center. On the compact boards, some of them anyway, it's off to one side, which means you don't get as nice symmetrical shots. That's kind of a minor thing. So this board, who's this for? Well, in terms of where it is, I think this is positioned right in between sort of Red's, say the Voyager board, the touring board, long distance touring board, and the race boards. It's kind of like the Voyager board and the 14-foot Elite board had a baby, and this was the result. It's fast, you can do long distances on it, but it also has space on it where you can put some luggage, and it's really lightweight. So far I've really enjoyed using this board today, and hopefully this has given you a little bit of an insight into the new Red Paddle Sport Plus 14-foot board.